What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's just jump right in. You know how we do. The Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. Man, Hackett's revenge. I mean, we got to talk about it. That was that that was. I mean, I guess it was a little bit of poetic justice, some irony. I mean, it was all kind of stuff in that game as Nathaniel Hackett, former Broncos coach, now offensive coordinator of the New York Jets, faced the Broncos for the first time since Sean Payton took over and made those comments about Nathaniel Hackett's job coaching the Broncos may have been the worst coaching job ever. Let me go on record right now saying I agree with Sean Payton. That may have been the worst head coaching job ever. I don't know what they were so excited or so offended about. He's not even doing a great job at the offensive coordinator position. I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, obviously they love him. The guys, will do. His players will play hard for him, man. They have his back. So I mean, he's a great guy. Not being a great head coach doesn't take away from who you are as a man. You know what I'm saying? He still isn't a good head coach, but nonetheless, he got his revenge on Sean Payton. And he definitely might be a better play caller right now than Sean Payton. If you want to go there with it, because what the Broncos put out there on the field was definitely lacking. And then they traded Randy Gregory, their best pass rusher. All right, I don't know what that was about. And reports were that they were going to release him. Now, between him and Jonathan Cooper, now obviously they just drafted Jonathan Cooper, but he's the lesser of the two. I mean, he's a young guy, so maybe he can, progress. But I mean, obviously, when it comes to a trade, you want to give something to get something, and I don't know how much value Jonathan Cooper has right now in the trade. But nonetheless, my goodness. So now you're not getting any pressure on the quarterback, really. Luckily you were going against Zach Wilson. It was like the battle of the Wilsons. Which Wilson is worse? Russell Wilson or Zach Wilson? And I like Zach Wilson. He's no Brock Purdy. But I mean, that was eating crow right there with a knife and a fork. The Jets made more plays, obviously, than the Broncos. But what really hurt the Broncos was, the turnovers. Obviously the Jets had their turnovers too now. Let's not, both teams, it was like watching a Pop Warner game. But that last turnover by Russell Wilson, and again, I'm not necessarily blaming Russ. Obviously, I know Sean Payton is. Sean Payton was not happy. Obviously you have to, you got to protect the ball, Russ. And one way or the other, you got to make a choice. Are you still looking to throw the ball? So you need to have the ball ready to throw, which, carrying it down there, he wasn't having it ready to throw, obviously. If you made the decision to run, then you need to protect the ball as a runner. You need to protect the ball as a runner. You need to protect the ball as a runner. And he didn't do that. So come to think of it, I guess I'm going to have to put that blame on Russell Wilson. You got to protect the ball. You need to protect the ball in that instance. I mean, there's nothing more important than the ball right now. I mean, that's just how it is. So I mean, it's you can't say lesson learned too many times. These are lessons Russ should already understand and know and practice, which is probably why Sean Payton was upset. We had a Cortland Sutton sighting. I mean, again, it's hard. When Russell's gun shy, he doesn't want to force the ball into windows he might think aren't big enough. He doesn't want to get an interception. Russell Wilson does not want to get an interception. He doesn't want that criticism, so he's not throwing certain passes. He has to get his confidence back, but his confidence back in the offensive line. The offensive line he has no confidence in the offensive line. He's afraid to take hits. They're telling him not to run too much, which I agree with. So he doesn't take those hits. So Russ is just in an uncomfortable position right now. And he's got, is that the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach? Who is that Russ has assigned to be in his ear talking to him the whole time he's on the sideline, sitting down, standing up, doing whatever, so nobody else can? It's like, I don't know. But, and you see why, because Sean Payton's going to be on him. And I told you guys, if you go watch my early videos on the Broncos, I told you Sean Payton's going to hold Russell Wilson accountable in ways that Pete Carroll did not. And we'll see if Russell can handle that. We'll see if Russell can be that type of leader, which I don't think he can. I don't think Russell is that kind of a leader. I was trying to think of another word, but he's just not that kind of a leader. He doesn't lead in that way, and he's not really capable of leading like that. He just wants to go out and play, and guys do their job. And that's kind of how how Russ wants to go to work. But when you're a quarterback of an NFL team, you need to have certain types of connections with your players, and that's something we've heard that Russell Wilson does not have. Marshawn Lynch just mentioned it on Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp's podcast, and about how Russ just prefers to keep some distance between him and his teammates. So we'll see how that plays out. You can see it in with the Broncos. I mean, obviously the players have a certain amount of respect for Sean Payton, but they're not. He's not buddy with them like Nathaniel Hackett. They bumping chests on the sideline, hugging, dapping him off. He's one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? Sean Payton's not one of the guys. He's your head coach. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. He's afforded some a certain type of respect. Nathaniel Hackett, he gets fondness with his players. They like him, a good fishing buddy. You're not going fishing with Sean Payton unless you winning him Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of how it is, and you can see that. You can see the lack of connections for the Broncos. Russell Wilson has to adapt and adjust, become more a teammate, and we'll see how that, spreads among the organization. As more teammates become teammates, more players become teammates, and they can start playing for each other and putting forth a stronger effort for one another, and then also for their coach. Sean Payton might have to make some adjustments, and connect more with his players. The way you see a lot of coaches doing nowadays. You got to adjust with the times. You got to connect with these players. You got to have people on the staff to do so if you're lacking in that area. The defense obviously getting lit up when the Jets were disciplined, making plays. The Broncos couldn't stop them. Pat Surtain did a good job. But he's one man. He's one man. All he can do is all he can do. So we'll see what happens next week as the Broncos play the Kansas City Chiefs. I know Nathaniel Hackett is happy, smiling, feeling good, and he should. Still a bad head coach, but great guy, an okay offensive coordinator. I mean, some guys are just better suited at helping to run the ship than to run the ship. You know what I'm saying? Some guys are better suited to be the co-captain than to be the captain. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. Golly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and in a lot of situations, when they come to you and say, hey, we need you to be the captain this time, you're not going to say no. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to do your best and hope you don't bring the whole plane down. you're gonna do your best and hope you don't sink the ship. You know what I mean? So that's all. That's all. That's all. You know, Sean Payton should have did a better job of articulating it in that manner. You know, some guys are just much suited, you know, to be the co-captain, to be the co-pilot, excuse me. And Nathaniel Hackett is probably one of those guys right now. Obviously, you can always get the right situation. You can learn from your mistakes. You can get better. You can, you know, you know what I'm saying? You can always learn and get better. But some guys are just better suited for that right now until they get better and learn uh, and shed that skin and grow and become, you know, something more, you know? Definitely, you know, we see what happens when you run your mouth, you open yourself up for response. Sean Payton has, you know, he felt like he wanted to say that, and you get the response, you know? So comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about Hackett's Revenge and the Denver Broncos and what's needed for them to do better. Are they just going to be a therapeutic punching doll for most of the NFL? We'll see. So I thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining me. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right. If this was